Alright, hi guys. I've moved my camera again. So now I'm standing here. Camera's over there. Maybe that will work. We'll see. Okay, pattern focus is where I want to go to do the next pattern. Scroll down here. We're going to go to Wisket. Wisket's an easy one. I don't know if I have a video of it. Somebody does. Couple people do. I don't recognize that logo. Let me see who that is. Does it tell me? I might not be able to get it from here. No? It doesn't tell me. Okay. I have to go on to the, if that's a YouTube, I'd have to go onto YouTube. Anyway, that's what we're doing right there. It is a basket weave pattern. Super simple. Let me zoom in just a smudge so you can see. So basically it's a grid pattern. Once you've created your grid on every other square, you're going to go with vertical stripes, and then the opposite square you're going to do horizontal stripes, and that's basically it. Then you're done, and then you can either color in or whatever you want to do to make the, you can draw with a few lines or many thin lines. You can do it however you want. You can color in just the corners. See, there's all sorts of different variations here on once you've got it drawn on what to do. I like this with the string, with them going different directions. I think that might be what how I'm going to tackle this as a single monotangle. Grab me a piece of paper. Grab myself. Okay. Don't go any closer to me than that. Don't go any farther away from me than that. Perfect. Okay. I'm going to give myself a border. Can you guys see? Thinking maybe I might need to turn the light on. It's a little overcast today. It's not as bright as it was yesterday. Let me go grab the light. Okay, that's a little better. It makes a little bit of a shadow, but it's a little dark. All right, let's make a string or a template or a compositional path. Let's do one here and maybe something up this way. Like that. So something this way and something that way. And that's just as a compositional guide to divide my tile into various sections. So on one section maybe I'll do it in a fatter, another section maybe I'll do it a thinner, or we'll just excuse me, just play around a little bit with shape. Oh. Sorry, needed a drink. Okay, let's see. Start with my pen. I think I'm going to want a nice border, a nice big border. So where's my brush pen? This one. You'll notice my border is very organic. Did that on purpose. Rather than trying to make perfectly straight lines, if you on purpose make not straight lines, then you don't look like you've made a mistake. Just a little hint. I'm going to draw that. don't usually draw the whole line, but I think this time it's going to call for it. This one is going to follow the curve, I think. Like that. You'll see they're different widths. It's okay. They can be. And then I'm going to follow this. Follow that curve. Like that. Okay. So then on this one, I'm going to do every other one. They're going to have like that. And then we'll do this one. Just like that. Simple. I found some more questions that I can answer. I found this on interwebs. It's only got 30 questions instead of that other page that had like 100 or whatever it was. But I thought I would give this a try. Some of them, I think, you know, this is probably all written by a 12-year-old again, but we'll see. Do you keep up with the Kardashians? No. No, I do not keep up with the Kardashians. I'm lucky I know who the Kardashians are. And other than them being famous for being famous, I don't know what their fame is. You know, I think that's a made up celebrity. They decided they wanted to be celebrities, and so that's what they decided to create themselves, a celebrity persona, and now people consider them celebrities, but I have no idea what they would be famous for. So they're famous for being famous, but not for being, you know, particular sports figure or particular having a particular skill or anything. They just seem to be famous for being famous. And the only one who is famous for being something else would be Bruce Jenner / Caitlyn Jenner. And then he married into the craziness, and yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that. If you could have an old muscle car, which one would you choose? It would be a cherry red Mustang 1974 with a white top, because that is what vehicle I drove, convertible, when I was in high school. How I got lucky enough to have that as my car, I don't rightly know. Probably had something to do with the fact that I couldn't drive stick shift very well, and the other cars we had in the family were stick shift vehicles. We had a Subaru and an old Volkswagen, and the Volkswagen belonged to my stepdad, and so did the Mustang. The Subaru belonged to my mom, and my stepdad took the Volkswagen to work because he commuted, and it was a long drive, and the Volkswagen had really good gas mileage. So, so he would take the Volkswagen, was a VW Beetle blue, and my mom would take her brown Subaru to work. So I got to drive the Mustang. So I was really quite privileged in my high school years to drive the Mustang convertible. Of course, I was not allowed to ever have anybody else in my car. I could have my sister, but I wasn't allowed to like have friends hang out in my car or anything. So it wasn't all that much fun because I couldn't have anybody else in there with me. But I love that car. It was beautiful. When my mom and my stepdad got a divorce, of course the car went with stepdad because it really belonged to him. And so I replaced it with a Mustang, but it wasn't the same. It was not classic. It was not convertible. It was one of those ugly half hatchback, not really hatchback, but it had like where the top cover, the top roof was was like a green leather, like avocado green on the top, and it was white on the bottom, and it was just ugly. It was just ugly, but it was what I could afford. But if I could ever have vehicle back again, that would be the one. I'm trying to decide how I want to approach the next section. I think I'm going to change pen sizes, which will give it a different look. I think I'll go this way. Like that. And I'll go this way. This way I'll be assured that my lines will completely be different than these ones. Okay, another question. Do you curse like a sailor when the camera isn't rolling? No. No, you guys have heard it. Fudge Puppies is about the worst I get. Every so often I will actually say an actual curse word. When that happens, my family usually knows that something is terribly, terribly wrong because it's not me. Even when I broke my toe, I didn't swear. I yelled and I screamed, but I didn't curse. So it's not really the first thing that comes to mind. So if a curse word does come out, it's usually because I'm super, like, beyond. I've been pushed beyond my normal limitations. Want it here. And here. One there, right? And then it needs to go the other direction. This way is only going to get 2, I think. The long way went 3. This one's only, oh, well, that one's big enough to have 3. Some of them are skinny, they only get 2. That one's only getting 1. That one's only getting 1. Okay. And I feel like I want to do some dark in here. I'm going to do these ones dark. Just the whole first stripe. Just the outside ones, I think that will do for me. Okay, another question. If your significant other gave you a hall pass, who would you use it on? Be honest. What does that question even mean? I don't know what that question means. My significant other gave me a hall pass? Is that meant to be like if they gave you permission to date somebody else? Is that what that means? I don't even know what it means. I'm so behind and out of touch that for me a hall pass literally meant a hall pass, which was the little piece of paper you got for permission to go out of the classroom and go somewhere else on campus, which makes no sense why because your significant other wouldn't give you one of those. So it's got to have something to do with dating, or I'm just out of it. I'm behind the times. Don't ask me these kinds of questions. Guess this wasn't a good bunch of questions. Sorry, folks. If you have any idea what that means, let me know. I'm going to hazard a guess that because it says be honest and who would it be, I'm hazarding a guess that it has something to do with if your significant other told you that you could go date somebody else, who would you want to date? And I don't have anybody. I don't have a secret crush on anyone, so I would pass on the hall pass. What is one thing you do that you hate to admit? Gosh, I don't know. Perhaps I shouldn't have done these questions. These are not helpful for me in the least. What is something that I do that I hate to admit that I do, but I do it? I'd tell you guys everything. Something that I used to do that I no longer do. I can tell you that. I used to be a really bad gossip. I did. And I would pretend that it was a prayer request. I was like, oh, so-and-so needs prayer. And I would totally spill the beans about everything private that they shared with me in the guise of it being a prayer request. And that was so totally wrong. And I wasn't the only one at church that would do that. It's not an uncommon practice. A lot of people don't see it as being gossip, but they really, rather than just saying, you know, for example, if I went to somebody and said, you know, I could really use some prayer, rather than just saying, oh, I'm so sorry, you know, I'd be happy to pray for you. Is there anything specific you want me to pray for? I would pry, you know. Oh, really? What's you know, what's going on? You know, I understand that you're, you know, if they say that they'd like some prayer for financial. Oh, really? You know, you're having troubles with your job? Are you this? Are you that? I would really be interested in the day-to-day why they needed the prayer. And it was more because I wanted to know stuff that I didn't have really permission to do. It was wrong. So now, and to be honest, I am very more cautious when I request prayer, just so that I don't make somebody else stumble. If that makes sense. I will now, when I ask for prayer, rather than something specific, although sometimes I will ask for something specific, but I will be more general. I will just say, you know, rather than, you know, we can't pay our bills this month, which isn't true, but, you know, let's say for example, I would, if I was having troubles paying my bills, rather than telling somebody my whole thing on how I can't pay this one and I can't pay that one, and this you know, this financial thing fell through, and the whole story. I used to be wrapped up in storytelling, and rather than that, I at this point would just say, you know, can you just pray for my financial health, and just leave it at that. And I would hope that the other person would just say, I'd be happy to, and just leave it at that as well, rather than prying. But let me tell you, it's quick to spread, you know, so-and-so needs prayer for cancer, or this, that, and the other, and it's so easy to just fall into, oh, you know, how's he doing today? Can I... Because you want to help. It's coming from a good place. It's coming from a place of wanting to be kind and compassionate. But at the same time, it totally can end up being only, you know, I would love going to prayer group because I wanted to hear all the dirty secrets and the things that were supposed to be kept private in prayer group. And it was usually kept private in prayer group, but at the same time, it was like, I was getting some sort of little thrill out of knowing other people's business, and that is just wrong. And the older I get, the more private I become, and the less, you know, it seems to be the more there is on the internet, the less I want to share about my life, which is interesting. Especially given what I've been doing here on YouTube. Things I talk about, you know, they're not earth-shattering and they're not super private, so... Anyway. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just yammering on, like I do. What was this called? Wisket, right? Okay, there is Wisket in a couple of different styles. That was an easy one to do. All right, you guys have a great day. I will see you tomorrow. Go out and do something nice for someone today. Don't gossip about them. Just be kind. And if you feel the need to reach out to somebody, that's great. But then don't turn around and tell everybody else that this other person is having struggles. If you want to talk about your own struggles, that's cool. Talk about your own struggles, but don't talk about other people's struggles. That's their story to tell. I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.